main highlights for me was listening to Her Excellency and listening to how there's a real interest in transforming education and thinking about teaching things like human values as opposed to just reading, writing, and arithmetic. So that for me was great to hear because it's not typical. So much of our education system is focused on efficiency, and that's often because we inherited from the Victorians when efficiency was a really good idea. And that's a brilliant idea if the world doesn't change. The problem is the world changes, and so you either adapt or die. And so as a neuroscientist, we study how does the brain create, how does it adapt, and then we try to apply those principles within the context of education. So what we really need to do is teach children and create a context for them to become adaptable, because they actually come into the world that way, and too often we teach it out of them. From today's, there wasn't a specific idea. What captured my thinking today was that there were quite a few people speaking along these lines, which again is not typical for me in education. So I was heartened by the fact that this thought of the importance of things like compassion, we call them the 6 C's, compassion, courage, community, choice, creativity, how these are not just soft skills, these are skills that are essential for success. And I would argue they're going to be more successful success in the future. In fact, a recent survey in LinkedIn, what they found was that the most sought after skill right now is creativity. And the third is adaptability. So this is also very pragmatic. It also means we create better people in the world, people who can be more tolerant and compassionate of other people. This is something that transcends the classroom. What do teachers need here the most? Support, and they need courage. They have to have the willingness to step into uncertainty, because almost every single one of our behaviors we know from neuroscience is an attempt to decrease uncertainty. But fortunately, evolution gave us a solution, and that solution is play. Play is literally evolution's solution to uncertainty. And if you add intention to play, you get science. So science is nothing other than play with intention. So what they need is the ability to step into the classroom with play with intention, and then the support of the head teacher to actually create that environment. Because too often what we do is we say, well, we want creativity, but within a context of competition and efficiency. And so we try to, you can't do that. It's a very different way of being. But what we don't want is one or the other. We need both. Wisdom is having both. And that's where you get innovation. I would like to see some experiments happening here. I'd like to see the results of running such a program here to demonstrate, get evidence behind it, as well as thinking around how can we measure things like compassion, creativity, because if we can measure it, we can teach to it. Because often what we do is we teach to what we can measure, and then we put a lot of emphasis on that thing, even if it's not even relevant. And so what we want to do is create a way of measuring the things that we think are relevant and put evidence behind it.